Hi friends, we are in the midst of the Every Bit Counts challenge and I am making a beef vegetable soup today. Well, I started my soup bones this morning. They're still in the slow cooker. They've been in there 4 hours on medium heat, and then I did another 4 hours on low heat. We've got these are garlic scapes from last year. We also have some squash here that we freeze dried. We freeze dried the garlic scapes. And then I have some bok choy ends here, like the white parts, that I'm gonna throw in this vegetable soup. I thought we were all out of vegetable soup mix in the freezer, so I got out my freeze-dried vegetables, like this type of stuff, but I freeze-dried these so that I could have them when I ran out. But I had one bag left, and this is a vegetable soup mix. Third Thursdays at Kroger, they have a military discount day on all of their Kroger brand, Simple Truth brand, generic brand stuff. So this month I'm going to be going and doing a massive freezer haul, trying to get as much frozen produce as I can on that deal. We are trying to stock up our fridge and freezer and pantry for this transition that we're going through. But today I'm going to share with you how I make this delicious vegetable soup. And we're gonna also can up the beef broth. You all, we've got a lot going on in this kitchen. I just cleaned these trays from Elderberries. The Elderberries are in jars, in bags. If you're interested, I've got freeze-dried elderberries for $10 an ounce and $3 to ship those. So if you want those, my email address is down below in this video's description. Freeze-dried elderberries will last a really long time. I have them vacuum sealed in 1 ounce packages, 2 ounce packages, and 3 ounce packages, but I can do more or less. I can do more. I'm not going to do less than 1 ounce. So if you're in the market for elderberries so that you can make your own medicinal elderberry syrup anytime, then definitely email me down below in the link and we will coordinate and I'll ship you some of those. Also, yeah, we've got to get these pears done still. We canned up a whole bunch of peaches and there's just a lot going on in the kitchen in the month of August and September. It's very, very busy, very busy, very busy. So we try to do nutritious meals where we can. And in this video, I'm going to share with you all of the other foods that we've eaten recently. I don't always pick up the camera, but when I do, I share with you. That's right. Let's get into this meal prep video. This is all the things that we ate for this week. I hope you enjoy it. Give this video a like, click that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss anything from Rouse Rising. Thanks for joining me.
This is a neat little kitchen gadget. I'm sure you've either heard of this or seen one of these before. It's called a butter crock, and it keeps your butter room temperature, nice and soft and spreadable for your toast. It also keeps it from going rancid. And you may be wondering, how does it do this? Well, you fill up this bell with soft butter or room temperature butter, and then you fill up the crock up to a line. It's about an inch worth of water. And then when you set the bell down into the crock, it creates a watertight seal that keeps your butter fresh and soft. So it's an amazing invention, an amazing creation, and I've always wanted one of these for at least 20 years. I just never took the plunge and bought myself one because to me it was more of a splurge purchase, a need, a need versus want. Well, I don't need it, but I definitely want it, and finally I got one. So I'm going to leave a link for you down below in this video's description. Check it out. My new favorite thing to freeze dry is all of my soup ingredients. So we did more celery and more onions because we had that local produce stand. There's all my beautiful tomatillos. But we had that free produce stand that the food bank does. In the summertime, various places around town, they set up a stand and they have free produce for a couple of hours once a week. So I went to those because they happen at our local library, which is also story time day. So while there, we picked up the celery and some onions, and I was able to freeze dry the excess so that we can have soups all winter, or that I can have easy vegetables to throw in whatever recipes I am making. So a freeze dryer is really awesome for that. You can also freeze dry all your meals, so all you have to do is rehydrate them with a freeze dryer. But I just haven't done that yet. I've done it with chili and I think a elk stew one time, but I haven't done it consistently. Mostly I just do single ingredients because that's what I have available to me. And we often can food, or I stick food in the freezer. I'm not really freeze drying full meals yet, but if you have any ideas or suggestions about what foods to freeze dry, leave a comment down below because I would love to hear your suggestions. In my Como Fitibus Classic grain mill right here, I am milling up some hard red wheat berries so that I can make my kiddos a loaf of bread. I bake all of our loaves of bread from scratch here at home, and I love having this grain mill to be able to provide my family with fresh milled flour. This really helps maintain all the nutritional values in the wheat berry. I also leave the germ on the wheat berry, and I don't sift it so that they get all of the nutrition and all of the protein in the wheat berry. A little bit later in this video, I'm going to do a comparison of the fresh ground wheat loaves of bread versus making a loaf of bread with bread flour and all-purpose flour that I purchase already milled with additional ingredients. But this is my standard loaf of bread, and I make this with 1 2/3 cup water, 4 tablespoons of fat, 4 tablespoons of sugar, 2 teaspoons of salt. Then I put in 4 cups of flour. You can do half whole wheat, half all-purpose. You can do all bread flour, or you can do fresh milled flour. No matter how you do it, your fresh bread is going to taste delicious. I also do a 1/4 cup of oats, rolled oats in this recipe, and 2 teaspoons of yeast on top. I'm using olive oil today. Sometimes I use butter, sometimes I use coconut oil, so just whatever kind of fat you want to use in your bread. It's 4 tablespoons. So this is the most basic loaf of bread. It has a handful of ingredients, and it is really yummy. Most people that have tried making this loaf of bread have been very successful from what I've heard back. So I hope you give it a try. You don't have to make it in a bread machine, but a bread machine just makes life a little bit easier, especially if you're a busy mom and you want to make your family homemade bread, or you want to start cooking for your family from scratch. Learning how to bake bread is probably one of the first things I would suggest people do. Of course, I have celiacs and I can no longer eat bread, but when I first started this channel, I started this channel to share with you sourdough bread and how to make sourdough bread and how I make sourdough bread, or 8 loaves a week or 6 loaves a week at a time. I would bake 6 loaves or 8 loaves all at once, and then I would freeze the leftover sourdough so that my family always had sourdough bread. If you want to learn how to make sourdough bread, I have a whole playlist, and I teach you how to make your own starter at home from scratch, all the way to bulk batch baking 8 loaves of bread. So I made gluten-free sheet pancakes this morning, and I didn't add anything sweet to them at all. They're just sheet pancakes made with gluten-free flour, and I sliced one in half. And I'm having a ham sandwich, you guys. First sandwich in a really long time. I'm excited about it. On this night, we are just roasting up a whole bunch of vegetables. So while I have the oven on, I'm gonna do seasoned cauliflower. It's got onion powder, paprika powder, salt. Same thing on the carrots. I'm meal prepping all of this for the week ahead so that my family can have grab and go reheat food, so we can just throw it in the air fryer or throw it in the oven, reheat it, and it will be ready to go. So we're starting out with this, and then tomorrow you guys have seen the pozole chicken verde that I make, and I'm making up another batch of that tomorrow. So that's what I'm gonna prepare for the week. I've canned up some of it, but we're gonna make it and eat leftovers. So I'm just gonna double batch meal prep everything to make my life easier. So we doused some of these in buffalo sauce, and Aaron and Riker really like that. And then the rest of this stuff, we just have the seasoning on it. I'm gonna put them in containers and refrigerate them for another night.
Okay, I just wanted to share with you real quickly this loaf on the left. This is a fresh milled whole wheat loaf. I milled it with hard red wheat berries, and I didn't add anything else to it. I didn't add any extra flour, any gluten, anything. It's a more dense bread. We're able to thinly slice it, toast it, make sandwiches, whatever. This bread on the right, this is half all-purpose flour, half whole wheat bread flour, purchased from Azure Standard. And it is a big, giant, fluffy loaf of bread. And that one we cut thicker because it is really soft, but both use the same recipe, the same measurements, just different types of flour.
Picked up these gluten-free crackers from Costco a few months back, and I'm having it with goat cheese with plum sauce over top. It's real good. And then we harvested a whole lot of elderberries, so I'm just rinsing them in some hot water and throwing them onto my freeze-dryer trays. Next up, we are going to throw some butter in my cast iron skillet, and we're going to make, is it toads in a hole? What do you call it when you make a hole in your bread and you crack an egg in it? I think it's toads in a hole, but I'm not sure. So that's what we're making right now for breakfast. I've left some of the background noise for your enjoyment. I hope you guys like the chatter of the kids. It's always funny hearing their little voices in the background, but I usually mute it and then voice over, but I thought I would leave some today. So I am dubbing September Cobbler Month because here in the Pacific Northwest, all of our tree fruits and all of the produce and everything is ripe now. So we have a very short season and it tends to take a while for everything to ripen up. So September has become my cobbler month or my crisp month. And on this day, we are going to make a delicious cobbler for my family for breakfast. And I've been doubling these. So we'll have one for dessert at night and then we'll have one for breakfast the following morning, or vice versa whenever I make them. So far, we've done plum, peaches, we've done blackberries, all from local produce, and today I'm going to be making some with pears. And maybe I've been eating a few too many cobblers because that is a cobbler gut. No, that is not a baby bump. That is my guts. And one more note before we jam out, I actually made one apple cobbler and one pear cobbler. So if you notice the apples, yeah, I forgot that I made one apple. So we did both.
All right, I cooked up there's all the discarded bones and bits and pieces. So we've got our chicken right here, because when you make your Verde sauce, you've got to make your soup. So we've got some white hominy. Delicioso. I just cleaned my stove and I've already made like a huge mess on it. And then we're gonna add all of this goodness in right here. Get all that good stuff out of there. We don't like to waste a thing in this household. What? Okay, Annika. All right, now let's get this mixed up.
I just shared this whole recipe in my September vlog. I hope you check it out. There's also 30 recipes from 30 other channels listed in that vlog, and I made this pozole verde. I canned up a bunch of Verde sauce, and I will share that with you in a different video. And I also served up this pear cobbler for dessert after we had pozole, and then the following morning we ate the apple cobbler.
Okay, so I took that giant log of sausage that I bought at the grocery store the other day. We raised pigs in the past, and because our life has been kind of on hold the last 2 years, we haven't raised any livestock. We need to get back to that once we kind of sort everything out. We've bought this sausage, and now we are cooking it up. We're going to make sausage, eggs, and then these other 3 are going to serve us for 3 other meals, however we decide to use them. I'm going to pop these in a freezer bag and put them into the freezer.
So we fed the kids some sausage, eggs, toast, and they had their choice of fruit.
Okay, I've got 2 cups of sugar into 6 cups of water, and I'm going to put this vanilla bean in here just because I have it in this jar of alcohol. And we're blanching the peaches for 1 minute, throwing them in an ice bath, peeling them, slicing them. Right now they're just halved. I guess I should slice them more than that. I think you can make peach pit jelly and peach skin jelly or something like that. So that's the system we have. You blanch them first in the hot water, and the hot water makes the peels easy to peel. Then you dunk them in the cold water so you can handle them, and the peels peel right off. Pretty cool process. We're gonna have lots of yummy peaches.
Rusty red on her shoulder, I was cleaning her shoe when it clicked on the trot over in the bright morning dew. We brushed and we braided dandelions and chewed.
So I ended up with 6 quarts of peaches. I did not hot pack them. Is that why they're floating? So this is my first time canning peaches, but I had a similar experience with my plums up here. However, these plums, I must have cooked them more in the juice than I did those, because these did not float as much as those did. These, I don't think I cooked as long in the juice. They might not have been as hot packed, if that makes sense. Oh my goodness. So Rebel Canning, here I come. So yeah, I just basically did this simple syrup, and I packed these full of peaches, put the simple syrup in, 1-inch headspace, make sure I got all the bubbles out. I wiped the rims, put on hot lids, hot rims, put them in the water bath canner, and I water bath them for 30 minutes based on your elevation, based on all that kind of stuff. So you want to make sure you're doing proper canning practices. These have little black spots in them. That's because I used a vanilla bean. So I didn't strain the simple syrup. So there are little vanilla seeds in my peaches, but that's okay because it's a little bit extra flavor that I have in there. And actually I have 7 whole quarts of peaches. And then this morning we made a peach cobbler with all the leftover ones that were going bad or overripe. So we got to use up our whole 20 pounds of peaches.
And after a few days in the freeze dryer, all of my elderberries are dry. This is about, I would say, 3 gallons of elderberries that I managed to freeze dry in here, and just listen to them pop. Remember that hearty soup I was telling you about at the beginning of this video? I said I had some soup bones going. Well, that's exactly what we're doing here. We're taking these beef soup bones that we got from a local farmer, and I am just going to cook these or sear them real quickly on the saute feature in my Instant Pot just to get them nice and browned. That is going to add a lot of flavor to our beef bone broth that we are going to use to make a delicious vegetable soup. This is my favorite way to make vegetable soup: slow cooking the soup bones in some water and allowing the meat to tenderize, allowing all the tough connective tissues to break down, and those marry with the broth and it becomes incredibly nourishing. So there are some marrow bones in here as well, which adds a lot of nutrition and a lot of really healthy fat in this broth. Lots of flavor. It makes the vegetable soup kind of have a thickness to it, a umami type texture in your mouth, so to speak. I'm not really sure how else to describe it, but I have heard the term umami to describe mouthfeel of food, full of flavor and texture. Although the texture is smooth, it's a rich flavored broth. So we're putting some fresh onions into this soup broth. I'm also going to add some fresh celery and some fresh carrots. And this is going to slow cook on medium for 4 hours. And then I'm going to turn it down to low and let it finish cooking. This is some thyme that I grabbed from my herb garden, and I've dried it, so now I can use it in my soups. So we're just adding some thyme and some black peppercorns, some parsley to this broth to add a lot of flavor.
It was a mutual arrangement we both saw into. But can she walk in the fire? Can she run in the rain? Can she make it up the mountainside? Can she make it down again? I have often wondered if she'll go and jump the fence. Will she keep on moving onward or stay in what could have been? Broke my arm in December, we were running for the thrill. You turned in the canyon to the snowbank where I fell. Even still, I remember knowing she could feel it too. Was a mutual arrangement, we both knew what to do. She had a star on her forehead that was easy to find. When I let down her bridle, saw into her hazel eyes. We had a deep understanding, never had to use a bit. Was a mutual arrangement and an honest respect. Can she walk in the fire? Can she run in the rain? Can she make it up the mountainside? Can she make it down again? I have often wondered if she'll go and jump the fence. Will she keep on moving onward or stay in what could have been? Will she keep on moving onward or stay in what could have been?
To make this vegetable soup, I just used about 2 quarts of beef broth, a can of cubed tomatoes, a bag of mixed vegetables, then whatever vegetables I had on hand or needed to use up. I added potatoes and carrots as well as some bok choy ends. And then I took all the shredded meat off of the bones, and that's what I'm adding into the soup right now. I seasoned it with a tablespoon of oregano, salt, and pepper. It turned out really nice. The family loves to play golf in the garage, and Aaron has this net set up that's perfect for wintertime.
You need a golf ball? Okay. Here, let him hit one. It's not going to matter. Torsten, it's not going to matter. No, leave it there. No. Okay.
There you go. Perfect.
No, the tee jacks it all up. All right. All right. Now. Oh, yeah, you did it. Nice. There you go. Oh, bro, you hit the water and in the bushes. Alright, hold on.
And the kids love playing with the Matthew C. blocks. They like to make birthday cakes with the blocks. They're fun to build with. It's time to serve my family another nourishing meal. They really enjoyed this soup. Every single child ate their bowl of soup, which made this mama really happy. And then we had some leftovers for the next day's lunch. I always try to make a large pot of soup. I'll either can the leftovers, or if it's a successful meal and everybody likes it, we will eat on it for a couple of days or for a couple more meals. All right, that's enough. That's enough.
Annika, can I have the salt?
Okay, right here we've got a jar of honey, but we're gonna watch it closely because I believe I might have too much elderberry syrup to dump in there, but we'll see. Just enough. Then you just shake it up. You'll have your elderberry syrup. You can take elderberry syrup as a medicinal shot as soon as you start feeling any kind of cold and flu or COVID symptoms coming on. Go ahead and dose yourself with your powerful elderberry syrup. I'm adding mine to my tea. It's a nice spiced flavor, and I drink a nice spiced nighttime tea that it complements really well. To get organic elderberries, go ahead and email me down below in this video's description at rowesrising@gmail.com, and we can coordinate getting you some elderberries so that you can have some immune boosting elderberry syrup whenever you need it. This is a peach cobbler I made Another cobbler. Yes, yes, yes. You see them in every video this time of year, but this one was really tasty. We used up the last of our peaches to make it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!